So welcome to another DNT Spezial, which is a webcast in context with the German Sustainability Award and is related to our conference. This webcast will tackle one of our so-called transformation fields. We have separated the different goals, the different SDGs in 5 main transformation sectors, and resource management is one of these. The company GROHE is one of our winners of last year, and I would like to welcome Jin Montesano, who is Chief People Officer at LIXIL, the mother of GROHE. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
LIXIL has lately launched an initiative together with UNICEF, and it tackles one of the biggest problems of the SDGs, the water problem, or better to say the sanitation problem. Latest estimates reveal that 3.6 billion of people still lack access to safe water, sanitation, and hygiene. How do you, as a provider of sanitation products, approach this inequality? Usually you enter the scene when the resource water is given.
That's a really great question. And you know, the way you questioned from how do we tackle this inequality, I think that's a really important way to frame this question, because in fact, we don't think about this inequality at all. You know, every day when we use the toilet, we wash our hands afterwards. Before we sit down for a meal, we wash our hands. We know that these simple acts that we do every day without even thinking about it are actually not that simple for many around the world. And in fact, to be very specific, 1.7 billion people, that's 1 in 5 of us on this planet, do not have access to safe, basic sanitary toilets. And I'm sorry to say this for those who might find this unpleasant, but almost 500 million people are practicing open defecation every day to take care of their business. Mm-hmm. And you can imagine how that can pollute rivers and fields and the environments in which humans are actually living, whether it's in the village or in the community. 2.3 billion people, that's 1 in 3 of us on this planet, lack basic hand washing facilities at home. And this has a devastating human impact. If you think about it, we know UNICEF publishes reports that say 700 children under the age of 5 die every day from diarrheal diseases. Many of those diarrheal diseases are caused by unsafe water, inadequate sanitation, and poor hygiene. And this has all sorts of implications. What I do want to say, though, is that this huge problem statement is something every company can try and tackle. And at LIXIL, we've decided that the way we will join forces with partners like UNICEF to tackle this issue is by creating a vehicle, a social business we called SATO, that really is the global leading provider for safe sanitation and hygiene solutions that serve this population on the planet that currently do not have access to some of these most basic tools that you and I use every day without thinking about.
How does this initiative work? What do you provide? What's the role of UNICEF? How do you join forces?
Well, it's a great question. So first of all, UNICEF and LIXIL, we've been working together informally for many years before we decided to formalize the partnership. And we call that partnership Make a Splash. UNICEF had been working for decades and decades as the leading experts on how to convert village by village, community by community, getting them on board to understanding the power of separating human contact with waste using a toilet. But when UNICEF goes from country to country, village to village, community to community, and convincing people to use toilets, sometimes the offer, the supply of toilets is not there. You know, I don't know if you're aware, but 70% of the planet is not plumbed. So we don't have plumbing systems in some of the most rapidly growing cities. And as you well know, sir, the urbanization across the world is expanding faster than plumbing systems that can go in underground. So as you can imagine, off-grid solutions are really important. And so what we did was, as kind of experts and nerds on toilets and water technology, you know, we applied our expertise and know-how to really think hard about how we can bring affordable, innovative, actually right for community solutions that create a supply of valuable solutions solutions to safe sanitation. And UNICEF thought, well, we're out there trying to create demand, if you will, for the use of safe toilets. Here's a company that's creating a very good and excellent quality supply of toilets that actually meet the needs of that community with off-grid solutions. And so we came together. You know, we're working on a shared vision to tackle UN SDG 6. As you know, we hear a lot about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, but SDG 6, which is about providing clean water and safe sanitation to all, that's actually not on track. It's the only SDG that's behind. So we feel we need to actually work harder as a company, working with expert partners like UNICEF to really accelerate what we can do to improve sanitation and hygiene goals, which we have a target set for 2030. And so tackling this issue, one company or one organization cannot do alone. But we as LIXIL believe we can make an impact, and we partner with organizations like UNICEF really to try and address the issue from a public-private perspective.
Can you give us a brief example how it works when you come to a city, for example, which has no real plumbing facilities, and there's a lack of water? Your systems have to deal with water which is there, which is existing. How do you manage when there's no water? You bring it from far away, or what do you do exactly?
If you think about it, well, I don't know if you've seen the Sato toilets and what they look like, but they actually use less than 1 cup of water to flush.
It's water saving ideas.
It's a very water saving technology. It doesn't require clean water either to flush.
I got it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's a really important innovation because not only does it separate human contact with waste, it also minimizes odor and prevents bugs and flies from zooming around, which are also some of the reasons why people prefer open defecation. You've got to remember, this is actually a toilet solution that is offered to people who are switching from open defecation to the first basic rung of sanitation, which is to use a toilet, to go inside and use a toilet inside a shed.
It's
a big shift.
A very hands-on initiative, which works exactly where it needs to work. You have now announced a kind of extension or a new step of this initiative. What are your new plans?
We've really been working very carefully to figure out a way to find the right success for this partnership. And when we first started out, we decided, let's actually focus on where we think we can win together. So the program actually began in only 3 countries, not only, but Kenya, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. And we said, let's experiment and learn, work together, and really identify what we can do together in these countries. And I'm very pleased to say that after 3 years of very, very strong partnership, collaboration, and trust building, we've decided to expand to 3 more countries: Nigeria, India, and Indonesia. So we will now work across these 6 markets to really focus in, not only also this time sanitation, but also on hand hygiene. So one of the things that I did want to talk to you about is that in the midst of COVID, everyone learned very quickly how important it is to wash your hands, right? Every scientist and every public official went on television and the radio talking constantly. Hand hygiene is the first and only proven line of defense against COVID, especially when we had no vaccination. Except 3 billion people in the world did not have access to that simple concept of hand hygiene. And so during the midst of COVID, our venerable team, our Sato team, actually invented a new technology, hand washing, off-grid hand washing station for the communities that were basically without access to good hand washing solutions. And without UNICEF, who jumped in and helped us to pilot and test the product, and then eventually when we started to manufacture them, to help them get into the markets and into the hands and the families and the children who needed them most, UNICEF was just invaluable as a partner in really helping us to accelerate this. And together we made that product possible in terms of its reach. And that's still something we will continue to do with them in this second half of our partnership as we expand to new markets. We'd like to bring hand hygiene because, as you know, most of these countries still do not have access to the vaccine. And so while that's still happening, hand washing becomes a very critical way to prevent infectious diseases like COVID.
So you bring in your expertise, your products. UNICEF brings in the know-how when it comes to spread the world with these ideas. Who pays?
Actually, it's a social business, so it's not philanthropy. We don't give the product away. The Sato Social Business, which is a kind of startup inside, LIXIL, which is a $17 billion company, and that business has two key success factors. One is financial and one is non-financial, or what we call social. And its social impact KPI is to reach 100 million people's lives and improve those lives by 2025. And their financial KPI is to break even, is actually to become a business that can fund itself. And today it's a loss-making business. So LIXIL is obviously supporting, which is why the GROHE campaign, Energy for Life, is so powerful because it really boosts and supports the accelerated expansion of the Make a Splash partnership. Because every dollar, every euro that is raised really helps us reach more and more people.
How can viewers support if someone watches our webcast and says, this is a great idea, can I support it? What can he or she do?
One of the things that they can do is actually to support us through donations. That is a way in which you can actually contribute to the Make a Splash partnership between LIXIL and UNICEF. Other ways to support is to actually think about, how your company or your organization can bring your expertise and know-how to support the improvement of global sanitation and hygiene. Because you'd be surprised, you don't have to be a company making top grade faucets and toilets in order to do that, because there's so much expertise in the world, especially in corporations, and we need that expertise. Because one or two companies alone cannot solve this multi-billion-dollar problem. We need to work together, and we were very, very open to inviting other companies to join us.
So this is more or less an open source initiative, and you're happy if other companies join this initiative. Jin, thank you very much, and I wish you good luck, you and your colleagues. Good luck and much success for your initiative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stefan. Thank you for listening to our story.